Imagine hosting a massive, incredibly high-stakes dinner party, right?
Okay, I'm with you.
And you have to cook the main course. But the catch is you have to do it right after your older sibling just won, like a literal Michelin star in that exact same kitchen.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the pressure there that's intense.
Right. Like how much pressure is on your shoulders in that moment? Yeah. Because that is exactly what we're looking at today. Welcome to the deep dive.
It really is the perfect analogy for what's happening right now.
Yeah, because, well, today is Monday, May 4th, 2026, which means we are just over a week away from the Eurovision Song Contest Grand Final. And it's happening right here in Vienna on May 16th.
The vibe in the city is it's wild. Like the delegations are already arriving at the Wiener Stadthalle.
Yeah.
And you can feel that specific, I don't know, that electric tension that only comes around once a year. Especially since Austria is defending the title, right, after JJ's huge win last year with Wasted Love.
Exactly. So our mission for you today is to explore the anatomy of Austria's 2026 host nation entry. We're pulling from Eurovision World Stats, bookmaker odds, Wikipedia, and some incredibly polarized YouTube comments.
Oh, the comments are something else.
They really are. We want to see how a 19-year-old phenom went from local talent to representing his country on home soil and, unravel this totally bizarre mystery.
The mystery of why a song that is basically universally loved here in Austria is just facing brutal international predictions.
Right. So, okay, before we can really understand the song, we have to look at the artist himself, because he's the one who earned the right to defend the title.
Yeah, you have to understand his background. We're talking about Cosmó. His real name is Benjamin Gedeon. He's a 19-year-old Hungarian-Austrian guy from Burgenland. And his story isn't just, some standard manufactured pop idol thing.
That's not at all. I mean, look at his early timeline. It's actually kind of crazy. He was in early musical education when he was 4 years old.
Right.
4. And then formal piano lessons by 6. And by 13, he's already writing his own melodies.
And that timeline is it's so crucial because when a kid is learning music theory at 4 and mapping it out on a piano at 6, they are literally wiring their brain differently.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're learning the mathematical language of music before they're even fully fluent in spoken language. They hear intervals and chord progressions, not just a catchy hook.
Okay, but let me push back a little here.
Sure.
Because, there are plenty of kids who can play Mozart flawlessly at age 6, right? But if you ask them to write a pop hook that 200 million viewers actually want to hear, they just freeze.
Oh, absolutely. Being a technician doesn't make you an artist.
Right. And he also comes from a reality singing show background. He was a finalist on Germany's The Voice Kids in 2022. So is being a teenage singing show veteran really enough to anchor a stage that massive?
Well, see, that's where his specific experience on The Voice Kids matters. Because his mentor was Alvaro Soler, and Cosmó wasn't up there singing like bubblegum pop.
Ooh.
No, he made it to the final by singing Frank Sinatra.
Wait, really? A teenager doing Sinatra?
Yeah. And think about what that requires. Sinatra's all about phrasing. It's cabaret, it's theatrical, you have to know how to command a room and tell a story, not just belt out high note.
Oh, I see. So it's about, narrative control.
Exactly. And if you combine that with what he did a year before that, in 2021, he won this local jazz, pop, and rock competition, and he did it with a completely self-composed track called Fall Into Your Arms.
Oh, wow. So he wrote it entirely himself.
Yep. He understands jazz, which is basically the art of breaking pop rules,
right?
And he self-produces. That structural understanding is what really sets him apart.
And that totally explains what happened on February 20th this year. At the national selection show, Vienna Calling singt for Österreich.
Right. His victory there was decisive.
Decisive is an understatement. He scored 22 total points. He completely swept the public vote with over 10,600 votes.
But, and this is a really important detail, he actually took second place with the 43-member international expert jury.
Oh, wait. Second place?
Yeah. And that's kind of our first clue in this whole deep dive. The Austrian public gave him their top marks, absolutely loved it, but the international experts were just slightly more hesitant.
Huh. It's like there was already this tiny fracture between the local vibe and the international appeal, which brings us to the actual song, the artistic weapon he's taking to the grand final.
Yes, Tanzschein.
Tanzschein, which translates to dance license. And it's a completely German language, electropop, synth-pop track.
Yeah, and the origin story of this song is it's so perfectly weird.
Tell me about it.
So Cosmó is literally just out jogging in Vienna, and this hook just pops into his head. He pulls out his phone and records a voice memo. Sie brauchen einen Tanzschein.
You need a dance license. That's it. Just from a jog.
Just from a jog. But he got so hyper-focused on this one highly specific vision, he took it to his producer, No Punch, and they literally couldn't write anything else until they finished it.
Wow. They just caught the bug and had to see it through.
Exactly. And because they were so locked in, the track is incredibly cohesive. It's not just a dance song, it's this high-concept critique of club culture.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting to me. Because the lyrics and the music video are wild. They frame the whole club scene as this, like, animal oasis.
The imagery is super specific.
It really is. You've got this lion who is just aggressively hitting on a gazelle.
Yeah.
And then there's a bouncer with a strict blacklist.
Right, and the blacklist explicitly includes steroid injectors.
Yes. Like, no dogs allowed, no steroids, you need a permit to dance. But the best part, the absolute best part, is the gorilla.
The gorilla is iconic.
There's this gorilla hiding in the corner of the club, and all he wants to do is pirouettes.
It's just brilliant, and the video shows this transition, too. You see a girl named Hannah taking off an animal mask. It's this whole visual metaphor for, like, shedding your inner animal.
I mean, it's basically George Orwell's Animal Farm, but set in a neon-lit nightclub with a strict bouncer enforcing the rules.
That is exactly what it is. And what's fascinating here is why this matters for Eurovision.
Right, because this is not your typical Eurovision pop anthem.
Not at all. He's taking his jazz and cabaret background, and he's using it to critique predatory club behavior versus, authentic expression. But he's wrapping it in this massive synth pop beat.
Which is a huge creative risk.
A massive risk. I mean, doing a theatrical high-concept metaphor entirely in German, it's bold.
But locally, it worked. I mean, the song hit number 7 on the Ur3 Austria Top 40 charts. The Austrian public clearly got it.
They loved it.
So if the music is so clever and the production is great and he won the public so decisively, why are the international bookmakers essentially writing him off completely?
Well, to understand that, we have to look at the brutal math of the contest this year and the reality of being the host nation.
Okay, let's break that down. Austria is hosting at the Wiener Stadthalle.
Right. And as the host, Cosmó gets an automatic pass straight to the grand final.
That is a huge advantage.
It is. He'll perform in semifinal too, right between Cyprus and Latvia, but that's just a showcase. He doesn't have to survive the voting bloodbath of the semis.
Right, he's already in. And he got the best possible spot for the grand final, too. Running order number 25.
The closing performance.
Literally the last thing people see before the voting opens. I mean, you have a top 10 local hit, you bypass the semifinals, and you close the entire show. Mathematically, that should be a massive success.
You would think so, but the betting odds are, they're staggering. In a bad way.
How bad are we talking?
Bookmakers are giving Austria a less than 1% chance of winning overall.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1%. They are predicting Finland to win. Finland's got Linda Lampenius and Pete Parkkonen with a 29% chance.
Wow, so Finland is just running away with it, according to the odds.
Yeah, and it gets worse when you break it down by jury and televote. Less than 1% chance for the jury vote.
Let me guess. Australia's favored there.
Yeah. Yep. Australia's Delta Goodrum is at 26% for the jury. And for the public televote. Again, less than 1% for Austria. They're predicting Israel's Noam Beton to take that at 27%.
So across literally all metrics, Austria is ranking 30th or lower.
Exactly.
I don't get it. If you connect this to the bigger picture, why do the odds hate this song so much?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's actually a classic case of the host country phenomenon.
The host country phenomenon. What's that?
Think about it. When a country doesn't have the pressure of needing to qualify for the final because they're already in youth, they have this luxury of taking a massive artistic risk.
Oh, because they don't have to engineer a song that appeals to like 30 different cultures just to survive a Tuesday night semifinal.
Exactly. They don't have to sand down their edges. They don't have to sing in English or use, super generic themes. They can send something highly experimental, highly localized.
Just something aggressively authentic to their own youth culture.
Right. And that's Tanzschein. It is so deeply Austrian, so deeply rooted in that specific German language club scene.
But the flip side of being that authentic locally is that you risk totally alienating everyone internationally.
Completely. And we're already seeing that happen. Just look at the reception online.
Yeah, we pulled some of the YouTube comments from the official music video, and it really shows the disconnect. It is so polarized.
Oh, it's a war zone in those comments.
Right. You have this one comment in German that says, so einquatscht. ist doch nur gelogen und viele glauben es auch noch.
Which means such nonsense. It's just a lie and many even believe it.
Like, people are genuinely angry about the metaphor. And then you just have the classic universal internet reaction, WTF, with a laughing, crying emoji.
The laughing emoji really says it all.
It really does. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Is Cosmos sacrificing international votes just to maintain his artistic authenticity?
Honestly, yes. Because in a 3-minute, multilingual pop contest, nuance is often the first casualty.
That makes total sense.
Think about it. A song about a gorilla wanting to do pirouettes. That requires you to actually understand the lyrics to get the emotional payoff.
Yeah, if you don't speak German, you just see a very intense 19-year-old on stage.
Exactly. Now, to be fair, the staging is going to be spectacular. They've got Dan Shipton and Ross Nicholson directing the performance.
Oh, they're incredible. They always deliver visually.
They do, so it will look amazing. But without that lyrical comprehension, the core message might just fly right over the heads of non-German speakers. To a pan-European audience, it might just look confusing.
Right. It's like you can see the spectacle, but you don't feel the soul of it.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's distill this whole journey. We've got a 19-year-old musical prodigy, Benjamin Gedeon. He writes this high-concept German electropop club anthem. The local audience absolutely adores it, but there's a massive disconnect because the international betting odds are incredibly harsh.
It's just a fascinating case study in how art is consumed, really.
It really is. What wins a local audience's heart-like cultural specificity, singing in your native language, using these complex cabaret metaphors, is sometimes the exact thing that alienates a global algorithm.
Or a betting market, yeah. They want broad, universal appeal.
Right. But, before we wrap up, this actually brings me to a final, slightly provocative thought for you to mull over.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What are you thinking?
Oh, we've been talking about these terrible odds like it's a bad thing, right?
Oh, yeah, nobody wants a less than 1% chance to win.
But consider this. Austria is already automatically in the grand final. They have the closing slot.
Right.
What if coming in last in the international odds as a host country isn't actually a failure? What if it's a massive strategic victory?
Wait, a strategic victory? How?
Think about the cost of Eurovision. If you win, you have to pay to host this incredibly expensive, massive event 2 years in a row.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be a financial nightmare for the broadcaster.
Exactly. So by sending Tanzschein, Austria gets to unapologetically showcase its most avant-garde, authentic youth culture to 200 million people.
They had all the exposure.
All the exposure, all the cool factor, but without the terrifying financial threat of accidentally winning.
That is actually genius. You throw the coolest party, you show off your local scene, and then you happily hand the trophy to Finland at the end of the night.
Right. It's the ultimate win-win. They don't compromise the art, and they don't bankrupt the broadcaster.
I love that theory. It makes the 0% odds look like a master plan.
Exactly. So when you watch the grand final next week, and you see Cosmó up there living his truth with his dance license, just remember, sometimes the real victory is just getting to be the gorilla doing pirouettes.
Unapologetically.
Exactly. Well, that's all for today's deep dive. We'll see you next time.